Hello, and welcome to the Battleship Brawl Companion. I'm Evil for Zergan. In this episode, I'll be reviewing the Steel Kaiser-class Battleship by randomness5555. We've got a very detailed and pretty ship here. Starting from the prow, we've got this figurehead. It's hard to tell what type of animal it is, the blocks being so large out of necessity. To me, it looks kind of like a cat. Although, maybe Ramnus can clarify. Behind that, we have the windlasses for the anchors. A true superstructure with little funnels here. Most historical ships I've seen have had the funnels on the center line. Sometimes they had air intakes on the sides, but these are exhausts. Got a true superstructure with a fully equipped bridge. Even stairs. So this superstructure is walkable. Tripod mast. I'm not sure what the significance of these yellow and black things is. I mean, wonder if they're just are they just warning diagonal stripes? There is a standard maritime flag. Let me see if I can look it up here. There is a standard maritime flag that is yellow and black with squares. That's the L Lima flag. In harbor, it means the ship is quarantined, and at sea, it means you should stop your vessel instantly. And if accompanied by numbers, it represents the latitude. Although that's only a sort of 2x2 grid of black and yellow, so I'm guessing that's probably not what this is about. Under the waterline, we've got a thick blue band at ending at just about the waterline level. So a very good looking ship. But let's get to the hard characteristics of the ship. I'll throttle it up here. So we're making about 13.5 meters per second. Slightly on the low side, but not terribly so. The propellers are mounted fairly low, so I think we are developing a bit of an up pitch, but not too much. Let's see. There's some lead on the front here. I suspect it's to counter a bit of that up pitch effect. Let's try turning. Got a yaw rate of 3.3 degrees per second. Turning does produce somewhat of a heel to the ship, heeling inwards. Most likely due to the rudders being mounted fairly low. 3.3 degrees per second is probably also slightly below the average, but again, not terribly much so. Let's look at the protection next. Shrink the blocks here. So this ship has a very heavy main armor belt made out of full heavy armor beams. Now this is going to be very expensive. I mean, it's going to be able to absorb a lot of damage, but I think a huge percentage of the ship's cost is going to go into these. If we see the ship is, let's see, 145 meters long. This thing probably makes up most of the ship's length. If we say conservatively it's a 100-meter long belt with, say, a 10 block height. I think I'm underestimating here, but that's a 1,000 blocks on each side. Multiplied by 2 sides and 40 materials per cubic meter. We're looking at a at about 80k resources or more. So I think about half of the ship's entire cost is just these two armor belts. Most people, and I recommend this, most people just use heavy armor corners to make a armor class bonus to the layers above it, instead of going all the way to these solid blocks. But from the side, I mean, this ship is not going to be easy to penetrate. We've got, I mean, the outer layer of metal, kind of a double hull going on here. The main belt and a bit of wood surrounding most of the rest of the ship. The most critical components are surrounded in more heavy armor. So, although the ship only has a single AI, it will be hard to crack that AI bunker unless somehow a shell explodes under the ship. Let's see. What else? How much ammo? I think the ammo is all stored in the one magazine. Let's see. 36 boxes. Yeah, that looks like 36. Do have some engine redundancy, which is good. The main issue with this ship's durability is the air pump setup. This ship is extremely dependent on air pumps for its buoyancy. All the air pumps are set, and you see that the freeboard is only a few meters, even when the ship's undamaged. And while the side armor is impressive, is there bow armor? The bow is at least made out of metal, but the deck armor is extremely weak. Yeah, we've got, I mean, just wood. Only a layer of wood stands between this ship and plunging fire, and the bottom of the ship is just a single layer of stone. So, as we did see in the tournament, any plunging fire, especially if it's frag-based, is going to get right into the ship, possibly destroy important components, and most importantly, if it gets down here to the stone, which is easy with frags, it's going to be knocking holes in the bottom of the ship. And I mean, there's really not that many compartments, all things considered. I mean, we've got just a few of these fairly large compartments. I mean, each turret is a compartment. Then we've got this entire bow and the sides are all another compartment. So, I mean, it's really not going to take many holes to remove the ship's buoyancy. And, I mean, we saw it sunk and, like actually sunk. Many ships in this tournament aren't really sinkable due to their high inherent buoyancy and not relying on air pumps. But when you're relying on air pumps like this, your ship can get literally sunk instead of just despawn. So it is a real shame, despite all these materials being spent on armor. There is that one fatal weakness, which I think is the story of a lot of ships in this campaign, or tournament, I should say. There's just so many things to keep track of it from the devs, and if you get any one of them wrong, I mean, it could easily be a fatal flaw to your design. Fine, let's talk about the armament. So we've got 5 turrets, each with 2 guns. The barrels are pretty well constructed. They're long. They've got good muzzle velocity. The Ramnus has... Unusually, Ramnus has not chosen a kind of flush turret head design. I mean, these are kind of necklace turrets, and they don't cover the deck, so you can see right into them. So they look very vulnerable. Although, given from the depths strange explosion rules, which I've covered in previous episodes, I mean, this actually isn't going to be that much of a disadvantage relative to most conventional turret design. Um, because I mean, even if it was flush with the deck, even if it did cover the deck, if it gets hit on the side, the rules are going to phase through the deck anyways. So, um, I mean, you know, it's not much of a further disadvantage over the conventional design. Internally, they're not terribly they're not terribly constructed, but it could be better. Most of these have two or three. Most of these pelts have two or three autoloaders connected to them. You want to be going for about more like 3 or 4 ideally. There's also this kind of hollow space in the middle. Maybe randomness was concerned about turret sharing causing weird things to happen. Sorry, part sharing causing weird things to happen, but it is possible to be a bit more aggressive and still have all the guns functional. The biggest flaw of these guns is that although we have a decent amount of ammunition boxes at 17, I think both of them have 17. Yeah. The trouble is that none of them have autoloader connections. I mean, they are next to autoloaders, but the autoloaders are aligned to be serving the pellets rather than the ammo boxes. And that means these guns have the worst possible reload time for their gauge. We've got a 33.8 second reload time. So, I mean, in 10 minutes, that we're talking about only like 18 shots over the entire time limit, even if the ship survives that long. I mean, that's just not going to. I mean, that's just not going to fly, really. I mean, if all of those were linked up well, you could probably be getting something closer to like a half that, or even a third of that. So that's going to just put way more shots into the air, which is what you need to destroy the enemy ships. Well, that's about all I've got to say about this one. Thanks for entering the tournament, even if the ship does have some severe flaws. It is a very good-looking ship. To me, the figurehead, the sort of concave bow, as viewed from the top, and the tall mast gives the ship kind of a bit of a sailing ship flavor, combined with kind of the more modern, mostly metal construction. But thanks for entering, and I'll see you all next time.